All right, guys. We got this beautiful video here by Patrick CC. He's a good content creator. Why am I not following him? Subscribe to whatever. Anyway, Patrick CC. It's about Bam Margera could be in big trouble. Absolutely. Let's get this going. My wife likes Bam Margera a lot. She refers to him as one of her, first husbands. Bam Margera, Spike from Buffy, and that one guy. I keep forgetting his name. It's he looks from Superbad. The Seth Rogen. Thank you, beautiful voice. I'll do a singing stream one day. So that annoys me, obviously, that my wife says things like that. But then, God forbid, I tell her that I smile when I talk about Lucy Lawless, Xena the Warrior Princess. All of a sudden, oh, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, Xena the Warrior Princess is hot. Look at this. I'm sorry, but like, are you kidding me? This was my first love. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Xena was hot. Ooh, baby. So, there's that. Also, plus, Gabby Hanna's not bad looking either, but anyway, let's get this going.
Bam Margera is in trouble. For the past 2 years, Bam has been in and out of rehabilitation centers that he was seemingly forced into going. At first, everyone thought he was admitted for his own good. Not anymore. New information has been unveiled that Bam has been put in a legal guardianship. People who are in guardianships...
Oh, like a conservatorship? Like they did to Britney Spears and somebody else that I forget the name of?
Cannot choose where they live, cannot have access to their phone, and sometimes cannot consent to their own medical treatment. His family and friends have been chasing him all around the country as he escapes from different facilities. They have a sophisticated system to find him and get him back to treatment centers. But Bam's situation is not as simple as a reckless man being protected from himself. Bam is very likely the primary income source for many of the people around him. He recently just got...
Hey, listen. Okay, before we get into this, I understand where this video is going to go a little bit, and I absolutely respect the consideration of what it's going to, like, what we're going to talk about, and that is the potential issue with people trying to potentially force him into some kind of a conservatorship in order to take advantage of him for his money, which is always possible. But I think that we need to consider generally that, and especially from what I know about Bam Margera, that is very likely that his parents just love him and they don't want him to be hurt, and they don't necessarily give a singular fuck about the money, and that like they have enough money to survive without what's going on here, and it's not going to be this drastic financial decisions. I don't want to get into the headspace of every single time somebody that's really successful becomes like somebody that like struggles with substance abuse, that like we can instantaneously write off people around them as like, oh, maybe they may just want the money. They might, but generally speaking, family loves their family. And I think that from what I've seen of like Bam's mom and dad, they seem to love him a lot. So if they're the ones that are like in charge of the conservatorship, I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I just want to be careful about just diving into like, oh, they might just be doing it for the money. Maybe, but these people seem like real good people. Like, I don't know, and I could be wrong. But like if I had a multi-million-dollar kid, and a lot of times being like famous does come with some kind of, it can come with like a substance abuse issue, because there are issues that people that are like super famous deal with. It doesn't make, I mean, it's always better than an actual real person job. But it comes with the territory. I just want to kind of keep that in mind going forward. But
fired from Jackass forever and missed out on a $5 million payday. And his legal guardian Lima, well, the last person that was in her...
Yeah, they missed out on the payday because he was like so fucked up on drugs, and it wasn't cool anymore. That's what like Stevo. He's like, well, we used to be like all on drugs, it was cool, and now like it's not. We want you to get your help, so we didn't want you in there because we thought it would be self-destructive for you. And like that's a really responsible thing, I think, to do.
Care died.
Man, wait, what?
Legal guardian Lima, well, the last person that was in her care died.
How did they die? Did she kill them?
I just want to make a quick disclaimer and say that there is a great deal of speculation that I will be doing in this video, meaning that what I'm saying is not fact. I found all of this information online, and who knows, it could all be wrong. But
I respect in the introduction of this information right at the beginning, because like when you do content, You engage in like priming your audience. So you'll kind of deliver somebody through a story with like, you know, different perspectives and whatnot. And if you're doing heavy speculation, and if you mention that when like after everything is done and be like, yeah, I was just speculating, a lot of times people will engage with the content in a way where they're like, oh, this is really true. This is really real. I really agree with this. And then after you say it was just speculative, they go like, oh, okay. And they don't really consider it as much. However, if you put it in the first part, it puts people, like I hinted out, into people's minds so that they listen to it in a little bit more of an intelligent way. So I actually do really appreciate that pretext there.
But I guess you can let me know what you think. Also, my video from early 2022 about BAM is pretty much essential to figure out how we got here. Also, you will be very lost if you didn't watch my most recent video about Lima and Amanda. There's a lot of important information in there. But I'm going to do a 1-minute speed round of background information for the few that don't know who BAM is. Bam Margera and his friends in the 90s started a stuntman/skateboard group called CKY. They made extremely popular videos filming these stunts and sold over 1 million copies. Jeff Tremaine and Johnny Knoxville made a popular magazine/film series surrounding skateboarding and stunts called Big Brother. CKY and Big Brother came together and Jackass was made. Bam was the second most famous and successful Jackass star, multiple MTV shows, and millions of dollars. For his whole life, his dad has been his accountant and business manager. His mom has been cleaning up Bam's mess his whole life, but worth it for millions of dollars. Almost all the Jackass guys struggle with addiction. Bam stayed clean until 2007 when he started getting addicted to alcohol and Adderall. However, he was prescribed Adderall for his ADHD. His best friend Ryan Dunn tragically passed away in 2011 and Bam spiraled out of control. For 12 years, he has been in a vicious cycle of doing drugs.
One of the issues with prescribing some medications to people, man, like that stuff can get you real fucked up, unfortunately. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna mute. Thank you for the $10. I'll look at that after this. Your alert after this bit, okay? This segment.
Public freakouts, trying to get clean, rehab, relapsing, and starting all over again. 2019 was a rough year for Bam. He had multiple public freakouts, a Dr. Phil episode, and a number of manic Instagram rants.
Get it! That's why. Because you don't get it. So what's before that? A heartogram. Why? Because I love it. Why do I love it? Because it's f***ing awesome. Lasky and Strigoi. And English. That's insane. No, it's the opposite, you f***wit.
He admitted himself into wavelengths rehab in Huntington Beach, California in August of 2019. It was supposed to be 30 days, but they encouraged him to do 90, even though he was paying for it. During his stay, Jeff Tremaine, Spike Jones, and Johnny Knoxville visited.
Yeah, I get that. I just want to be like, when he says, well, even though he was paying, like, yeah, you pay for rehab. That doesn't mean that they wouldn't. I mean, like, yeah, they could have been recommending it to keep him in there longer for more money, which could always be like that part of it. Or maybe he really needed it because he was going off the deep end, you know?
Him and told him that he needed to sign a wellness agreement. If he didn't sign it, he would not be a part of the 2022 film Jackass Forever or any other Jackass endeavor in the future. Normally, he gets paid $5 million for a film, which likely is his primary source of income to provide for his wife, child, and family. This indicates that he was coerced at a vulnerable moment in his life into signing this document. He signed.
No, I don't like this. I don't like this speculation at all. This is like really not. I think that this is really a stretch. So what's being said here is like, well, this is his primary source of income, which is true, but he's already rich, so it's not like he's hurting for the money. And so like he was coerced into signing a wellness agreement if he wanted to do this. I'm going to assume the wellness agreement had something to do with not consuming drugs and alcohol at a rate that would kill him by the time that he hit 40 or 50 years old. I don't like that speculation because it comes off as like, yeah, the Jackass crew, they made him sign this wellness degree that would say that if he was engaging in a destructive behavior that could kill him, that they were going to remove him from the show. It's like, well, that's not really coercive behavior. And I think that's a drastic stretch to say that they were dangling $5 million above his head to tell him that whether he could or couldn't do this particular thing. You know, I feel like it just feels like such a drastic stretch in general.
This wellness agreement included, but was not limited to, blowing into a breathalyzer 3 times per day, submitting to a urine analysis twice a week, having his hair follicles tested on a regular basis, and taking medication every morning while on a FaceTime call with a doctor hired by Paramount. According to Bam, he was...
Yeah, that's very restrictive. He could have said, I don't want to do that, but they want to make sure he's clean. You know, a lot of these guys in Jackass struggle with like a lot of drugs and alcohol, man. Like, it was rough. It beats you up. It's one of the biggest reasons why like this type of content, prank content, can go really badly, man. These guys are putting their lives and their bodies on the line. And Bam developed a substance abuse problem. And they want to make sure that the person they work with and their friend, because the Jackass people come off as very much friends to each other, very strong friends. They want to make sure that his friend doesn't die. I think that's the most reasonable perspective to come from, because I've seen them interact with each other. I've seen them talk about each other. I think that they actually do have a deep amount of respect and love for each other. And you'd have to like work your way back and completely remove all that. Show me like, oh my God, they actually hate each other, in order for you to convince me that this is going to be some kind of like a predatory, like, oh, we're gonna make him sign a wellness agreement for money. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't like that tone.
Prescribed 18 different medications by a doctor in this rehab.
When I go in for Adderall and alcohol, I come out on Zoloft, Vistarol, Bipropion, Lithium, Concerta, Propranolol, Seroquel, Contrave, Trazodone, Vivitrol, Naltrexone, Laduda, Zyprexa, Lexapro, Abilify, Wellbutrin, Vraylar, and Adderall, because I have ADD, and Klonopin.
2 of those medications were Adderall and Klonopin, in which
And honestly, that could be an overprescription of medication, and that would be like the doctor's fault. It sounds like a lot of medicine to prescribe somebody at once. I don't know exactly how long they put it on there. Some of those might be conflicting medications, but like what you have to understand is, if you want to say the doctor was dog shit garbage, I mean, that sounds true. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that, or I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that, but we have to understand that most of the people on Jackass aren't doctors, and they're going to be like, I'm going to listen to what a doctor says, and that gets more into like the power dynamics between doctors and people that are treated, doctors and patients, and you can't really fault the Jackass crew for like not understanding that might be overbearing, but that also might be appropriate. But that might be what he needs. He might have like significant issues and need to be on multiple types of medication. I don't really know. None of us are fucking doctors.
which Johnny Knoxville allegedly told Bam he couldn't take, even though Bam had been prescribed Adderall for the past 13 years. So he was being told by a doctor one thing and by the Jackass team another thing. This magnitude of different medications led to extreme mood swings, depression, anxiety, and ending thoughts. He described this as psychological torture. Despite the unclear rules, Bam obliged and stayed clean for over a year. During that time, he worked on Jackass Forever, filmed many of the scenes, and even submitted ideas for the film in which many were used. However, one day he was on a road trip with some buddies and slipped up. He took an Adderall. Immediately feeling guilty, he checked himself into a Florida rehab, but that wasn't good enough for the Jackass team, and they fired him from the film.
Jackass was everything to me.
Okay.
And now I'm so relieved that Knoxville. F you, Spike. F you, Jeff.
Okay.
You never cared about me, man. You just don't know what's going on. It's Tremaine and Knoxville. They're poison suckers. And they just are. And they just are.
Initially looking at the situation,
So why are we, I want to be very clear here. Why are we instantly assuming, first of all, that all he did was take one Adderall? Like who is it not for nothing, is Bam Margera the one saying that all he did was take an Adderall? Was there more to that? Listen, have you ever considered maybe he's underplaying the negatives that he did here? Maybe it was more than just an Adderall. Maybe he like snorted an Adderall. Maybe he drank beer and did an Adderall. Maybe he did a lot. We don't really know, but I don't think that he's the best source of information for this because he has an incentive to lie. And of course, if you've ever like talked to drug addicts before, I don't know, he could be lying. I don't know. It just could be lying. It feels like there might be a little bit more there.
it seemed pretty clear. Bam signed an agreement and broke it. Simple.
Yeah.
Whereas Stevo put it, bam. The 2 people you're saying wronged you are the same 2 people who organized the intervention which saved my life. Everyone bent over backwards to get you in the movie, and all you had to do was not get loaded. You've continued to get loaded. It's that simple. But if a doctor...
So then right here, Stevo's saying he continued to get loaded. So it sounds like there's more than just he took an Adderall here. Sounds like there's a little bit more than that. That just seems to be the case.
doctor prescribes medication for an ADHD disorder that is well documented, and he takes the medicine. It doesn't matter what Johnny Knoxville says.
We don't really know if it's just the Adderall, though. He's saying it's just an Adderall. You're assuming that like he's being completely honest here, which I don't know if is the best assumption. I don't think that when Stevo says you're getting loaded, he's referring to somebody taking an Adderall. I would think that there's probably a lot more going on there. And this heavy speculation is not great.
He's not legally in violation of his wellness agreement. And taking 18 different medications daily in order to be in a film will take a mental and physical toll on someone. Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I almost think, I'm pretty sure I came across a TikTok where he's talking to Stevo. Bam Margera is talking to Stevo. And Bam references that they kicked him off because he had a sip of beer. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that's what I had seen. And so that potentially could mean that he's downplaying him drinking alcohol, and this has nothing to do with an Adderall, and that's just like a bizarre speculation.
He has a history of alcohol abuse. Yes, he was addicted to a medication he was prescribed. Yes, he has a history of being a spoiled brat who gets everything he wants and cries when things don't go his way. And again, watch my previous video so you can hear the backstory. But he was unlawfully fired from this film. So he filed a lawsuit against MTV, Paramount, Jeff Tremaine, Johnny Knoxville, and many others for inhumane, abusive, and discriminatory treatment in August of 2021. He actually won this lawsuit. Well, technically they settled outside of court for an undisclosed amount in April of 2022.
But that doesn't sound like they necessarily won. So here's the thing. I don't know the specifics about their settlement. Possible, though. It's possible that what happened... let's see. We should probably just read into... Maybe they'll give us like some information on this. I love all the advertisements you're giving me. Margera filed court documents to dismiss the case and reportedly negotiate... Okay. Bam Margera settled his wrongful termination lawsuit against Johnny Knoxville and the Jackass team. Margera filed court documents to dismiss the case and reportedly negotiated a private settlement with producers Knoxville, Spike, Jones, and Jeffrey Tremaine, as well as Paramount Pictures, MTV, Jackass Entertainment, and the Gorilla Flicks. The stunt performer filed a lawsuit in August claiming that he had been forced to sign a wellness agreement during 2018 rehab stint in order to star in the 2020 movie Jackass Forever. The agreement, which he signed without a lawyer, requires Margera to undergo multiple scheduled and unscheduled daily drug tests and take prescription medication. If he did not comply, he would be cut from the cast. Margera announced that he would be fired from the film. Jesus, I love how much dead space is here. He'd be fired from the film in February 2021 after violating the agreement's conditions by testing positive for Adderall, a drug that he claimed the team knew full well he had been taking for a decade to treat his attention deficit disorder. Okay, so that's what he claims, that he tested positive for Adderall. Margera announced he was fired from the film in February. When did they start filming? Do you guys know when he started filming? Because the one thing that like sticks out to me is that if he got fired from the film in February because they found Adderall inside of his urine, or they tested positive, if he was taking Adderall consistently, then wouldn't that always show up from the start and he would have been immediately fired or not even been allowed to go onto the set? Like, it doesn't really add up to me. That if he was taking Adderall the whole time because it was prescribed, then why didn't it show up on the initial like tox screen, whatever you want to call it? How come it took until February? Do we know when they started filming? When did they start filming? It was a Jackass Forever. Jackass Forever. They started in March 2020, so 11 months. So. This is what it sounds like. It sounds like they started filming in March 2020. This is when they started the wellness agreement, where he could only take like a particular thing. Like, hey, this is the agreement that we have with you, X, Y, and Z. 11 months later, according to this, as he started filming in 2020, he took a drug test and he had Adderall in his urine, which means for 11 months he wasn't taking Adderall. If that was doctor prescribed from the start, how come it would take 11 months for it to show up in his urine? Right? It doesn't really make sense. If you're saying he might have faked the drug test, then that would kind of violate his wellness agreement, no? But do you understand what I'm saying? Also, he was on the hair follicle tests as well. Like, you can't fake a hair follicle test. Or it's very difficult. Right? So it seems a little curious to me, but okay. He full well for ADHD. Paramount's inhumane treatment of Jesus Christ. Margera cannot be counter nuanced, I think it says. I don't know what is this word? Hold on, we got to figure this out, guys.
Countenanced.
Countenanced. Never heard that before. His lawsuit read, Margera was made to endure physical torture in the form of a sham wellness agreement and then ultimately terminated for his protected class status due to his mental condition and his complaints about defendant's discriminatory conduct towards him. After filing the suit, Margera said he was pissed off and angry, hurt, and shattered. My lawsuit isn't just about compensation. It's about treating people with mental health and addiction issues to an honest manner and not taking advantage of their disabilities and rip them off, he said in a press release that time. The TV personality, 42, has battled drug and alcohol use for years. He was arrested in the UI in 2018, resulted in rehab stints. Since then, he frequently checked in and out of rehab centers. Okay. Is there more information to this? Like, was he just kicked out for that, or was there a lot more to this and they never really came out with it too much publicly? Because I swear to God that it had something to do with alcohol as well. It sounds like we're taking everything that he says on complete face value. It's possible that they settled the lawsuit because Johnny Knoxville and them, they're friends with Bam, and they didn't want to like shit on him and engage in a lawsuit. Yeah. So
They settled because they knew they discriminated against his illness and fired him for taking a medication that he was prescribed. However, it was this clip that made people realize there was something else going on. But before we dive any deeper, a quick word from our sponsor. Morning Brew is a free daily newsletter delivered directly to your email, and I want to thank them for sponsoring today's video. Typically when I wake up, I jump right on social media, and then after a few minutes, I realize I'm just mindlessly scrolling. Now I open Morning Brew and consume valuable information related to business, finance, and tech in just 5 minutes. Thanks to Morning Brew, I learned that in 2021, crypto investors lost more than $2.8 billion due to pump and dump schemes, whereas the notorious Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, only lost his investors $200 million. I also learned that Apple is looking to double their advertising team and advertise their new products more despite their long history of never running ads. Why? Because their new products are simply not that unique enough for people to want to buy them, so they're going to jam ads down your throat. Plus, Morning Brew is witty and informative, whereas traditional news is generally boring and dry. Morning Brew is totally free and takes less than 15 seconds to sign up. Click the link in the description and subscribe to Morning Brew today. morningbrewdaily.com/PatrickCC.
So yeah, he's in a
I kind of just want to hold on a second.
Second season of Jackass, and I'll even take it a step further as it relates to Bam. Like
well, you're friends with him, so
right, and like I'm really close with the Bam situation. And my experience was, I didn't even meet him until we were filming the second season of Jackass. And I was like, I gotta do something rad. I'm so jealous of Bam.
Style.
I wanted to see something about them getting fired. Let me continue this video.
program, and the good thing is now is he's under a conservatorship, you know, and
It's not a conservatorship; it's a guardianship.
oh really?
And the conservatorship
Britney Spears.
has financial implications. With a conservatorship, they're in charge of all of your money and everything. A guardianship, they kind of leave your money out of it.
Yeah.
And the guardianship, they're just like kind of there's rules you have to abide by. And
So Bam is allegedly
Okay, so it's not as deep as a conservatorship where that's like a financially driven thing. Okay.
in a conservatorship or a guardianship. You may have heard these terms associated with the Free Britney movement, where she was basically controlled by her father for 12 years. He controlled her money, forced her to take medicine, restricted her phone access, and she had no way of escaping. A conservatorship is where a judge appoints an individual or organization to care for another adult who is deemed unfit to care for themselves or manage their own finances. Knowing Bam's history, you could make an argument that it's justified. Maybe he is unsafe to himself and others. Maybe
Well, yeah, you much more than Britney Spears. I mean, the only thing that happened to Britney Spears is that she was hypersexualized and then like became the center of attention when it came to like a horrible custody battle, and people were this is when paparazzi were harassing the fuck out of her. Meanwhile, you have Bam Margera. It's a little different. Like he has deeply struggled with drugs and alcohol.
Maybe he shouldn't have access to the internet. Maybe he is incapable of getting his life on track by himself. However, these legal bindings usually give the conservator or guardian an unfathomable amount of power. They literally control your whole life, phone access, bank accounts, medicine intake, where you can and can't travel. The legal system kind of looks at a conservatee like a toddler and the conservator as the parent. The conservator basically takes all your constitutional rights. On top of that, it's interesting when Bam is the one bringing all of the money in for his wife, his parents, and maybe even his brother and friends and family. So they depend on him financially, and this could be a way where they get a little more control. And just a disclaimer, this is not
Could
fact,
be, but I
this is
doubt
all
it.
speculation. I'm just a YouTuber who knows nothing about anything. Don't go threatening anybody, don't go spamming free Bam on social media. But who is Bam's conservator? Who is this person controlling all his decisions, and what are they doing with this power? His mom? His wife? Brother? Nope. Lima Yevremovich. Lima is the owner and founder of Aura, which is a digital mental health services company. They apparently have proprietary cutting-edge technology that will predict and reduce relapse, self-delete, harm to oneself or others. They basically approach mental therapy like physical therapy, trying to use data and vital information about the body and brain to diagnose mental issues, because just asking someone how they feel and giving them medicine seems like an outdated form of treatment. Lima got popularity on the internet by partnering with Soft White Underbelly, which is
What I've been trying to soft white underbelly is interesting. What I'm trying to look at and find is anybody other than Bam explicitly saying why he got fired. And the reason is because like it's the official response from everybody except for Bam seems to be that he got fired for not adhering to like strict wellness policy of like a drug and alcohol test. Bam says it's just because he took some Adderall once. I kind of struggle to believe that it was something just like, I mean, maybe it was, I don't know.
Is a YouTube channel owned by Mark Lade. Mark interviews addicts, criminals, prostitutes, victims, people with rare conditions, basically anyone outside of the appropriate or expected normal course in life, whether it was by choice, by force, or by chance. These interviews are intended to humanize these people. Soft White Underbelly not only interviews these people, but they try to positively impact their lives, constantly checking up on them, buying them food, giving them resources, not just profiting off their pain. It seems like Mark partnered with Lima to have a professional mental health services company in his corner to provide even more value to his interview subjects if they choose to get help. Lima and Mark decided to raise money and use someone who they interviewed to get services and essentially prove that Aura's method and technology works. That person was Amanda, who was a victim of drug addiction and prostitution. Lima and her company Aura got Amanda off the streets and 8.5 months sober. Then she died in her sleep. I made an entire video about Amanda and Lima's story. It's a
How did she die in her sleep?
Was Amanda, who was viewed to get services and essentially prove that Aura's method and technology works. That person was Amanda, who was a victim of drug addiction and prostitution. Lima and her company Aura got Amanda off the streets and 8.5 months sober. Then she died in her sleep. I made an entire video about Amanda and Lima's story. It's suspicious for sure, but after Amanda died, Lima immediately focused on getting BAM under her control. In April of 2021, Lima posted this on Instagram. Just wrapped up a very successful Las Vegas trip with Aura's partnering treatment centers. Thank you for all the support with Amanda, to BAM Margera and Nikki B for backing us. So while BAM was sober, if you count being on 18 prescribed medications sober, he met Lima. We don't know how or why. He, quote, backs her company.
Well, unfortunately, sometimes getting somebody sober from like a horrible drug is to put them on a less serious drug. It's just kind of the unfortunate reality of the situation. I forget what the drug is called, but there's like a detox type of a drug, I guess you'd call it. I don't know. That people will get on because it helps them manage their other drug addiction, like something like some kind of methamphetamine that's much worse. So like, yeah, it might not be ideal, but it helps them like still function and not have behavioral problems because of the stuff that they're on.
Company, which insinuates that he invested some money, or does he just support them? We're not really sure. The only clue we have is this photo, which was posted on BAM's wife's Instagram in January of 2021. The man right here is Albert Monero Jr. We know this because Nikki posted another photo with him, tagged and with the hashtag family. Are they related? Not sure. Albert Monero Jr.'s LinkedIn states that he's the program director at Aura. It's likely that Albert is the one who introduced BAM to Lima, but I guess we can't be sure. Anyways, I'm
reading into this young girl who tragically was on like drugs and on the street and whatnot, and it sounds like they're saying that there is no drug related things and no like foul intent. I can't find the specific. I'm still looking for the specifics of like what had happened, but it might have just been like potentially a weak heart from, you know, abuse or something in that capacity. I'm still looking. Wow, horrible. It's so terrible for this one. Okay, so it says in a post, okay, it is believed that in combination with the physical damage caused by her long-term drug abuse, she passed away from the traumatic brain injury she sustained as a result of multiple violent rapes and beatings she endured. Listen, I didn't watch his other video about this girl here that he's referring to. That was the one that helped deal with this other girl, this other you know, woman that had like a drug abuse problem, and she had a traumatic brain injury from being violently beaten, raped. But I feel like maybe trying to connect a conspiracy to that is shitty. I might have to watch the video, and but it sounds like something. Why do we hate this girl? Because she managed somebody who had a really hard life that happened to pass away due to like the unfortunate, like this horrible traumatic experience of being violently like assaulted and then being on drugs and she apparently had a traumatic brain injury. And so it's so horrible and tragic, but why are we trying to say that like she had a contribution to that in some capacity? Okay. I just wanted to look at there's a lot of weird speculation going on here. That makes me a little uncomfortable.
After Lima posts about BAM backing Aura, Amanda dies. It was a sad day for the soft white underbelly community, as she was 8.5 months sober and passed away in her sleep. BAM spent a lot of 2021 publicly attacking the Jackass guys after being fired. This culminated to Jeff Tremaine filing a restraining order against BAM because he was threatening Jeff's life. BAM rants to Tremaine in an incoherent series of texts about signing a contract. We don't know what the contract says because it is written in BAM's made-up language Strigoi. The judge granted Tremaine this restraining order in June of 2021. From here, a petition for a court-ordered evaluation against BAM was ordered and granted on the same exact day in Maricopa County, Arizona on June 1st, 2021. This is basically when you want someone to be evaluated and apply with a mental health facility, but then you need a judge to sign off on it, so the subject is legally required to comply. We're not sure why it was applied for in Arizona specifically, or who applied for it. All we know is that these people...
I'd see that's like another conspiratorial thing to say. Like, I don't know why they do it in Arizona. That it suggests that the subtextual suggestion there is that maybe Arizona is like a lot more lenient Listen, I know I say this a lot and it annoys people, but like my wife is a behavioral specialist for adults with intellectual disabilities. There are instances when some people are deemed non-consenting, and like it's just unfortunate. But like I don't know what else to say. There are people who are really fucked up and they have really unfortunate life situations. And like based on the fact that he's created his own like cryptic language, and you even described that he had a manic episode, he's a constant abuser of different drugs and medications. The fact that he's on so many medications could be doctors performing poorly, could also be because he has like a lot of severe issues that happened. Part of it has to do with like the passing of like his best friend. It sounds like this guy's just really struggling in life and he's lashing out because like, bro, it's so sad. People who are drug addicts, man, they mean so well and they're not bad people, but sometimes they struggle to be people, especially when they're off drugs, especially when people set hard boundaries on them not doing drugs. Addiction is fucked up. It could push people to doing things that like that they wouldn't do if they were off drugs or they'd never gone on them in the first place. And I feel like this is like a really sensitive topic. I feel like it's like a really sensitive topic to kind of like speculate this heavily over, but okay.
People are involved in the application, and none of them are his family. But Lima's name is on the document. 3 days later, Judge Christian Bell granted a detention order, and Bam was detained, medicated, and ordered by a court treatment at a mental health facility. Basically, he was forced into treatment. Now, whenever Bam is in treatment, it's a dead giveaway on his Instagram. Someone else makes posts and turns off the comments. It's always old photos, videos, and memories that his audience eats up. Very similar to what was happening with Britney Spears. Sometimes they even sell merchandise while he's in rehab. In early August, he was transferred from Arizona to an outpatient program in Florida. So he spends most of his time in a rehab, but he was able to leave the facility at night or maybe on weekends. Why was he transferred? Well, we don't know. The first thing he did when he got out on August 9th was sue Jackass, Paramount, Jeff Tremaine, and everyone else. He was still very angry at them. 1 month later, on September 14th, Lima Yevremovich filed an application to become Bam's legal guardian. On that same day, Bam's wife filed for custody of their child. Some people look at this as a setup. That does not seem like a coincidence. Lima's
Wow, it's a lot of speculation here.
wife, Lima Yevremovich, filed an application and everyone else. He was still very angry at them. 1 month later, on September 14th, Lima Yevremovich filed an application to become Bam's legal guardian. On that same day, Bam's wife filed for custody of their child. Some people look at this as a setup. That does not seem like a coincidence.
Set up for what? So I don't know. So he came out of a if I was a parent of a child and my co-parent, will say the other parent of the child was somebody with an incredibly deep drug problem that was constantly in and out of rehab, and was creating fake languages and was now being filed or to have like some kind of a guardian to protect my own child, I would do the same. I don't think that it's fair to instantly assume that there's like a conspiracy here, because I think that this video is so Bam focused that it forgets that Bam's kid is very important, right? Like, there's a child, and it seems like the mother is just trying to do its best for the child. I don't know that it's like a coordinated assault. Let's keep in mind that Bam had got a restraining order against him because he was threatening like a producer of the show, right? You know, like sometimes if it walks like a duck, you know what I mean? And Bam's certainly walking like a duck here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be an asshole and just...
Lima's tactic of getting people into conservatorships or guardianships is posted on her RA website. Step 1 is getting them into jail. And what do you know? 2 weeks later, on September 20th, posted on her RA website.
How you can... What is this referring to? What is this?
Lima's tactic of getting people into conservatorships or guardianships is posted on her RA website.
I'll have to watch this video on her because maybe there's something more suspicious going on with her, and maybe that doesn't mean that the family is like, ooh, let's go after like a fishy person. They might just not know about the potential issue with her, so I'll look into that more after. But okay, this is a little bizarre.
1 is getting them into jail. And what do you know? 2 weeks later, on September 26th, Bam was arrested, and the story couldn't be any more suspicious.
He has a woman that's kind of his minder. He arrived from Orlando to back to the hotel about 3 or 4 o'clock this morning, started attacking her. She just...
Wait, he started attacking
from Orlando to back to the hotel about 3 or 4 o'clock this morning, started attacking her.
happened, and the story couldn't be any more suspicious.
He has a woman that's kind of his minder.
Okay, start attacking the woman that's his minder. Gotcha. So the argument here is that she tried to get him to attack her to put him in jail. Okay.
He arrived from Orlando to back to the hotel about 3 or 4 o'clock this morning. Started attacking her. She just let me know, and they're doing cocaine in the room. He's got like a prostitute or some woman like that in the room as well. He attacked her, grabbed her breast, and she said she thinks he tore her implant. And she came down and then went back up, and so they're up in the room right now. He just arrived to the hotel this minute.
So he attacked her at the Don Cesar?
Right, in the room.
Around 3 to 4? Okay. At around 3
No, this is just now. Now.
And does she need a paramedic? You said she told
I don't know. His name is Bam, B-A-M, from that show Jackasses.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Jackass.
How tall is he?
So he's 5'11". Oh, wait, no, he's not that tall. He's 5'7".
5'7". And medium heavy build?
Medium.
Does he seem to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol right now?
Absolutely. There's no question about it.
Okay, because you said they were doing cocaine. Is that correct?
Cocaine and really highly intoxicated as well. He's in severe psychosis. I believe he's been diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenic. He's been diagnosed as bipolar. He's got a long history of mental illness. He's escaped from 3 treatment centers in the last 2 months, actually.
So according to this unnamed caller, Bam was in a hotel room high on Coca-Cola with a prostitute. He attacked her and tore her breast implant, but this caller didn't know if the woman needed medical attention. He said that it happened at 3 a.m., but the woman went back upstairs with him. He also didn't know how tall Bam was, but knew that he was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic, bipolar, and knew that he escaped 3 treatment centers in the last 2 months. How did he know this information? Well, he said that Bam has a minder who gave him this information. A minder is someone whose job it is to look after someone else. Turns out this unnamed caller is a man named Steven Timmer, who's an interventionist that was hired by a, quote, trustee to get Bam to treatment. Steven said the woman in the room's name was Missy, who is his 65-year-old aunt. This is the woman being referred to as his minder. And when the police got upstairs, expecting an assault and cocaine everywhere, they just got a very normal Bam and his aunt. The police go in the room to talk to Bam, and another officer goes to talk to his aunt Missy. Missy is on the phone with someone.
Okay, so what's going on? You can hang up. This is a guardian.
We can assume it's Lima, and we can even hear her voice for a second, and it sounds like her. We can also assume that she's instructing Missy on what to do and what to say. The police officer asks Missy who she is to Bam, and she goes on this long rant, not answering the question, not saying anything about a prostitute or an assault, and just says that Bam is out of his mind. Plus, she also said,
He just got there.
So the guy who made the call said that Bam attacked a woman at 3 a.m. on cocaine and she was a prostitute. Then this woman says, no, he just got here. What? Missy is embarrassed, nervous, and probably feeling shame because she is setting up her nephew to be locked in yet another rehab. Bam was detained. Did he commit a crime? We don't know. All we have is this little clip where he says, from who, Lima? And the cop says, I don't know, I just have a judge's order.
From who, Lima? Just have a judge's order, from Lima? I don't know.
So the cop has an order from the judge to take Bam to a rehab over seemingly a false story. It seems like
maybe. I feel like there needs to be a lot more information there. If he got called for some kind of a... Wait, hold on. So he got a call... Wait, he got a call... They had an order from a judge. So did they get the judge's order based on this potential false information that he had? The thing that's like... Okay, expect me... excuse me. What the fuck am I trying to say? Correct me if I'm wrong. So they had a judge order. Do you get judge orders that quickly? Like, okay, so somebody called the cops on Bam. They said that he was on drugs, he assaulted like a prostitute or something, blah, 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 a bunch of shit. Then they somehow immediately got a judge's order to come arrest him? Like, did they get a judge order? Is that how quickly you can get judge orders? Like, maybe I'm just wrong, but that seems weird to me, like the process of that. To me, what I would be like is like, hey, this guy's on drug and he attacked a prostitute, blah, blah, blah. And then the police come and they get him and they're like, hey, we got this call, this, that, and the other thing. We're going to test your blood to see if you have any or whatever drugs in you. It's just, that's what would normally happen. Hey, there's something bad going on. Cop goes over, tries to see what's going on. And like, hey, we heard that you're on drugs, blah, 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 blah. I have to arrest you, etc. Because you don't need a judge to arrest somebody. It sounds like something was going on before that. If they already had like a judge's order to like bring him in, it just feels like we're getting very incomplete information, and it also feels like we're listening to Bam on a lot of the stuff that's going on over everybody else, when Bam has like a very big history of like a drug abuse and whatnot. Okay. Because I don't think you don't need a judge for an arrest. It's just, something's not adding up to me. It seems incredibly suspicious.
Lima, Missy, and Steven made up a lie about Bam doing drugs and assaulting a prostitute to get the police called to the hotel. Once they were called, Lima was able to secure her conservatorship and get Bam under her control. Whether the story was real or not, Lima was now officially Bam's guardian. This
what do you mean whether the story is real or not? Wait, what the fuck? Wait, that's not good.
To get the police called to the hotel. Once they were called, Lima was able to secure her conservatorship and get Bam under her control. Whether the story was real or not, Lima was now officially Bam's guardian. This reminds us of when Amanda got...
But that's very important, whether the story is true or not. Well, if the story's not true, wait, that's very speculative. It sounds like you're even admitting that maybe this story wasn't true. It's not a great look. This is too speculative for me. This is far too speculative for me, bro.
Arrested over allegedly beating her father with a pipe, to be taken to jail and then into Lima's care. Bam, a few months later, told the story. He knows he was set up and sabotaged.
I was gonna see...
He thinks he was set up and sabotaged. But I don't know if the word knows is accurate, but okay.
My wife and kid who I haven't seen in a half of a year, to hug the shit out of them. Then a minute goes by and the police are knocking on the door. They handcuff me and take me back to a rehab.
But he doesn't realize it was his own family who did it to him. That was in September of 2021. We basically heard nothing about Bam for the next 8 months. It was also during this time that I made my video. We got a few random posts on his social media that someone else is controlling, claiming that he is working on his health. Most of his core fan base thought this was really good for him. It was also during this 8-month period that BJ Investigates started exposing this information and doing her due diligence. She's also the one who got access to almost all of these court documents that we now have been checking. The Free Bam movement started attracting a larger audience. It's also because of this public information that BJ was exposing that she is now facing lawsuits from various people involved in this situation. Then on May 13th, 2022, a photo was posted to Bam's Instagram that said Bam's free. He had accomplished 1 year of sobriety. This is Lima's benchmark for success. He was back on Cameo, back skateboarding, posting on Instagram by himself. Unfortunately, he had a skate accident, but it seemed like the most normal version of Bam. He even did a podcast with Stevo, but that wasn't released until August. We can speculate on that in a minute. Everything was all good, but on June 12th, a throwback photo, then another, and another. And another. Even fellow Jackass member Chris Pontius started noticing something was weird. Who's always posting his Bam? He was just free after 1 year, and now he's gone again? Yes, he was sent back to a rehab in Florida. This was confirmed to the public on June 13th, when Bam fled his court-ordered treatment center unauthorized. He was reportedly unhappy with the care he was receiving and decided to take matters into his own hands. He was found in a Florida hotel 2 days after fleeing.
It doesn't sound good. This to me sounds like he might have relapsed. Everything was going great, and then he relapsed. Yeah, man, that is the fucked up, unfortunate part, man. Drug addiction is like, it doesn't go away. You would you never be, like, once you're a drug addict, you're always an addict. Even if you're clean, you're a sober addict, because you can't go back onto it. If you're telling me there's some kind of conspiracy because Bam might have relapsed again on drugs, because he's like, he's struggling with mental health issues, I'm not surprised here.
And admitted himself back into another rehab. Not even 2 weeks later, on June 25th, Bam would escape another treatment facility. This time, however, a video surfaced of him hanging with a weird group of friends, seemingly very inebriated. They even film and laugh at him while he's passed out on a hotel room bed. A year's worth of sobriety ruined. 2 days later, he was found in a different Florida hotel where police, a crisis intervention team, and both of his parents took him to yet another facility. On top of this craziness, his wife was not allowing him to see his son. Allegedly, she was not communicating with him directly, only through their...
Yeah, man. I don't blame her. It's fucked up, but yeah. I feel bad because Bam probably loves the fuck out of his kids, bro. But sometimes it's not, sometimes it's not good. It's not a good influence. I mean, this is a harsh topic and this is horrible, I don't think Bam's a bad guy. I just feel like, it's just the unfortunate reality of life, man.
Their custody team. I don't think anyone would really blame her considering these hectic times. So Bam is running around like a madman. Most people look at this as a man refusing to get clean, which very well could be true. Maybe he's sick of being forced into rehabs for the past 2 years of his life. Maybe he is actually manic and a danger to himself. But the Free Bam movement got so big since he was constantly disappearing from the public eye. His fans were so concerned with Bam's safety that they had to address it on social media. Whoever's controlling Bam's account admitted that Bam had been in a temporary healthcare guardianship with Lima, not a conservatorship. Some people say it's the same exact thing, but she is no longer...
Well, you explicitly showed us that it's not the same thing by somebody else saying it, being like, yeah, the difference is financial. Stevo says it's financial. I don't like that suggestion that he made there. Because when he says some people say it's the same thing, rather than clarifying that it technically isn't the same thing because there's not that financial obligation aspect there, again, it leans into a conspiracy.
Longer his guardian today. They assure us that Bam is getting the care he needs and being out of the public eye.
I just want to read the whole thing myself.
But she is
So, despite rumors, Bam has never been in a conservatorship, but had rather a temporary healthcare guardianship for reasons not shared with the public. And so, if Bam chooses to speak on this, he will when he is ready. The free Bam theories have encouraged his exit from treatment, despite their lacking knowledge of the details, his health and well-being. Really quick, I wonder if there's some kind of a HIPAA violation for other people talking about, for instance, the reason why he broke his welfare contract with like whatever he failed when it came to the drug test. I wonder if like that's some kind of like a HIPAA thing where he's the only one that's allowed to talk about it, which is why there's misinformation getting spread potentially.
no longer his guardian today. They assure us that Bam is getting the care he needs and being out of the public.
The free Bam movement has caused confusion and threat to Bam and our families. Although we love sharing our lives with you, some things need to be handled privately, and treatment is one of them. Recovery is difficult and even more so under public scrutiny. Absolutely true.
Guy is the best thing for Bam right now. They say if he chooses to speak on it,
despite rumors, Bam has
he will, but they don't give him access to his phone. And whenever he says something that they don't like, they delete it or not approve it to get posted.
Wait, what? What are you talking
They don't give him access.
Bam is currently in treatment, and we are helping him with his social media while he focuses on his recovery. We are his family who loves and communicates with him to collaborate on his content updates. With much appreciation, we thank his former health guardian, Lima, for all she's contributed. Thank you to everyone for your support during this wild ride. Okay.
Access to his phone, and whenever he says something that they don't like, they delete it or not approve it to get posted. So
what are you referring to? What?
Basically, if he chooses to speak on it and says what they want him to say, is when he'll speak on it.
What do you mean? When did they wait? What? Did I miss something? When were they removing stuff that they didn't want him to post? Did I miss that part? Okay.
I guess the Instagram post wasn't enough, so they released the podcast with Stevo. This was uploaded in August, but it was filmed in May, before he escaped all these rehabs.
I would love to set the record straight that number one, Bam has not ever been under a conservatorship. That the temporary guardianship he was under did not ever have any financial implications. And what's come to be known as the Free Bam movement has really been very toxic. It's served to try to assassinate the character of Bam's former guardian, Lima, who has never been paid to work on Bam's case, has never done anything but try to help Bam.
What you will notice in this podcast is Stevo is trying to control the conversation in a very specific way, so he can...
Okay. Yes. That's not a negative on... Huh. It's not a negative on Stevo. He's trying to control the conversation in a... Yeah, because people are fucking crazy. People are crazy. This what he's saying sounds absolutely accurate. I question if people have ever interacted with drug addicts before when they talk about drug addicts. I don't understand. This sounds accurate. Social media is crazy. People come up with conspiracies. If you actually met and sat down and talked with Bam, you'd probably be like, "Wow, this is pretty fucked." Of course, he's trying to like, you know, lead the conversation and control the conversation, because the conversation has been led by crazies online that have conspiracy theories about how Bam isn't a drug addict or in some capacity and isn't like profoundly negatively impacted by drugs. Like, this shit fucks people up real bad. I don't know if people just don't like drug addict is like a quirky word nowadays. Is that what happened? Like, we're just like, oh, drug addict. It's horrible, brother. It's terrible. It's brutal. It'll fuck you up. It'll fuck up your life. It'll fuck up your family. It'll fuck up your friends. It's harsh. This isn't like an internet fun tee-hee like drama topic. This is some real shit, man. Of course he has to be blunt about what's going on. That makes sense.
Stop the conspiracy theorists from continuing their narrative.
The hashtag Free Bam. And people seem to think that you're the Britney Spears of Jackass. The evil villains have taken over your life and stolen all your money. And like, can we safely say that none of that is true?
I don't know what's been going on because I haven't been able to look. As a matter of fact, I can't even post on my Instagram. Everything has to go through Johnny Schiller from Heart Supply.
So Bam does not have control over his Instagram. Stevo didn't like the way Bam responded to this question, so he asked it again.
Can we safely say that you have not been a prisoner and mistreated and like, you know, like stolen from like the whole, like, help us understand your situation.
No, I was just getting treatment for my alcohol and bipolar, and I just did more time than I was supposed to just from getting kicked out for dumb reasons. But now I'm out. I get freedom. I get a phone, and Nobody was forcing me to be there.
Also, something interesting I want to point out.
Okay, so what's the problem there? That he was being firm with the drug addicts? Like, hey, I need to ask you this question again without you dodging it. Can you answer? And then Bam's like, yeah, it wasn't really abusive, but it was annoying to me. Okay, like, I don't. Okay. Well, okay.
Is that the reason why Bam was in these rehabs for 1 year is really strange.
I did Madero
Why?
Beach on the west side, and I made it 75 days. I had 15 days left. And they're like, Bam, you've been rocking the same sweatpants for 75 days. I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to get any fucking pussy around here. I don't give a shit. And they're like, well, you're getting kicked out for bad hygiene. I'm like, oh my God. So I get to another place in Ocala National Forest. So I'm like, so this is day 76. They're like, oh no, you're starting at square one. I'm like, what? So I make it to day 80 there, and I smoke a cigarette, and I throw it out, and it's smoking in a bush, and they film it. They're like, you could have lit the whole national forest on fire. You're getting sent to West Palm Beach. I'm like, what? Now I know I'm getting back to square one. That's why I've been doing this shit for a year.
Now, I don't really know much.
If you truly expect me to believe that everything he's saying here is true, and that he's getting bounced around to rehab for something as throwing a cigarette into a bush, then you're fucking insane. There would have to be a wild conspiracy situation going on to somehow continuously shift him from place to place. Yeah, they got kicked out of this rehab because I didn't change my pants. First of all, not changing your pants for 75 days, it kind of suggests to me that, like, yeah, maybe you're being incredibly non-hygienic, and that could be an issue with drugs, because some people, when they're really fucked up on drugs, they don't really worry about hygiene. Second of all, I doubt he threw this just doesn't, like, I don't believe any of that. You believe that? I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole here, but are you really just like, you're taking the exclusive word of somebody who has an incredible substance issue? You're just taking his word for it. Didn't you show us a clip before where, like, he had left like one drug, like a rehab place, and then he went to some other rehab place, and then he's being filmed with a bunch of other dudes looking like they're all high on drugs? Like, do you think that maybe he relapsed? You think that maybe he's relapsing a lot? Because drugs is very difficult. It's very difficult to be not addicted to something. This video is fucking me up. This video is fucking crazy. I very highly doubt. It would have to be astronomical circumstances for this to be like some kind of weird conspiracy theory to be like true. Astronomical circumstances. And I very highly doubt them.
About rehabs, but it seems kind of ridiculous that they would make you restart your entire rehab program just because you didn't change your sweatpants.
Yeah, that's probably because it's probably not true. He's probably not being honest.
Also, smoking a cigarette, then flicking it into a bush, and apparently trying to set the place on fire is another reason why you need to restart your entire rehab process for 90 days. Maybe one of you can confirm that in the comments, but
I think that you're like almost at the point. You're almost at the point. So here's what's happening, right? Here's what's happening. Bam gives several absolutely outlandish reasons for getting transferred to different facilities, right? So this is Bam. These are his outlandish reasons. And we can extrapolate two potential reasons for that. Reason number one is you can actually believe Bam and like really think like, wow, this must be happening. Or you can maybe like be a logical thinker and go like, he's lying. Now, maybe he's telling the truth, but I feel like we've really gotten away. This is the problem with conspiracies, is that like you'll grasp onto the 0.1% of possibility that this thing could have happened, rather than go like, yeah, the logical thing is that like maybe Bam struggles with drugs and he's lying constantly about everything. Yeah, man, sometimes drug addicts will lie about shit. Sometimes they'll be honest about situations like where they're like, I'm gonna get clean, they mean it, and then unfortunately it just manifests in, you know, them relapsing because they mean it in the moment but they can't handle the urge. And sometimes people that are like, you know, try to downplay the negative actions that they engage in, try to maybe like lean into like a victim complex in some capacity. This is why this shouldn't be publicly speculated on, because none of you are helping Bam at all. Somehow you guys think that you care more about Bam than his family and friends. And that's possible sometimes, but most people, most family and friends actually care about their family. And so like this is incredibly toxic, brother. It's incredibly toxic here.
that doesn't seem like a valid reason. It seems like something else happened that Bam doesn't really know about. Maybe it was Lima keeping him in the
It could be an insurance hustle. It could also be Bam lying. I understand that insurance hustles can happen. That doesn't mean that it's always an insurance hustle. I understand like you're doubling down, but it's unlikely. It's possible that they're trying to hustle him for insurance, but he's constantly relapsing. So what? Seems more like there's some kind of inappropriate conduct there. What you're saying is possible, but it's also very likely that the guy is just relapsing over and over again. Like, because it's incredibly possible.
Rehab. Steve ends the podcast with a powerful message.
Please be supportive of Bam being in rehab, of taking sobriety seriously, because anybody who's talking about free Bam, let him out, get him out of treatment, like, you're trying to kill my fucking brother, you know, and don't do that.
There are a lot of people that will look at this situation like Stevo and say Bam isn't getting sober.
And then keep in mind, if you have, I don't know, I look at Stevo, somebody who's like a very deep friend to Bam, and he's like, you're gonna kill my brother if he's gonna get, if you keep telling him to get out of rehab. It sounds like he's more aware of what's going on than any of us, and that he's probably continuously struggling with a drug addiction. There's a lot more evidence to suggest that you're all wrong and crazily engaging in a conspiracy theory than the opposite. Just want you to understand that. This sounds like a really deep situation where his friends and family are trying to like handle this the best way that they can, and the outside peanut gallery is having a profoundly negative impact and only potentially emboldening Bam to continue in bad behavior.
Because of his own actions. Nobody is to blame but Bam, and his family just wants to help, and that is 100% true. Nobody will be able to get sober without their own determination. However, there are so many factors here that just make this suspicious. After Ryan Dunn passed in 2011, Bam was in terrible shape for years. Until 2016, nobody ever forced him in and out of rehabs. No guardianships, just partying with him and enabling his lifestyle when he was in pain. His most successful attempt at getting sober was in 2016 and 2017 when he decided to move to Estonia, then Barcelona on his own volition. He lost a lot of weight, skateboarded every day, and stayed sober for a year. When he got back to the States, he had a kid. A year later, he's throwing parties at Castle Bam, seemingly back in this toxic lifestyle. But to me, he looks way more in control than his wife, who's diving in the crowd full of men with her pants off. So it's all good when everyone else
What? What's happening here? What?
Wants to party, but not when Bam does, even though he's the one paying for everything. He wrote this When he got back to the States, he had a kid. A year later, he's throwing parties at Castle Bam, seemingly back in this toxic lifestyle. But to me, he looks way more in control than his wife, who's diving in the crowd full of men with her pants off.
So weird, bizarre shaming of her. I don't know where that came from. I want to make something like a little clear. Let's say we have two people, right? We're going to call them Ryan and Brian. Okay. Right? Check this out. Brian is an alcoholic. Ryan's not. He's not an alcoholic. They both like to party. Right? And they both drink when they party. Guess which one shouldn't be. Guess which one is doing the wrong thing when they're going to parties and drinking? It's the alcoholic. Bro, your argument that like, it's only bad when Bam parties. Yeah, bro, because he has a fucking substance abuse problem. Yes, like he can't be around that lifestyle, unfortunately for him, because he has an alcohol problem. He has a drug problem. Yeah, it makes it. Why does that need to be explicitly explained? Why does it need to be? His wife that's not a drug addict or an alcoholic drinking. What a fucking bitch. Why can't he do it? Because he's been in and out of rehab and he's spiraling out of control. And your video is contributing to him killing himself. Just want to be explicitly clear here. This doesn't help anybody. This is a massive speculative conspiracy theory. It's fucking insane. It's weird. It's insane. It's out of control. This isn't positive. This is bad.
So it's all good when everyone else wants to party, but not when Bam does.
Yes.
Even though he's the one paying for everything.
Because he's a fucking alcoholic. He shouldn't be throwing parties. What are you talking about?
Long letter from rehab in 2019.
Your best argument is that they're enabling him by allowing him to do parties. That's your best argument. Saying, like, I think it's really shitty that she's allowing him to have this party when she knows he's a fucking addict. That's your best argument. That she's acting irresponsibly and that she specifically doesn't care as much as she says she does. If you want to go with that, be my fucking guest. Great argument. But this whole idea that, like, oh, it's okay if other people party but not him. Yes. That's the point. That is yes. That is the point, motherfucker. That is the exact point that I'm making. 100%, 1,000%, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000,000% yes. That is how this works.
Letter, he said they would not let him take business calls. They would not let him manage his Cameo account that had $20,000 worth of deliverables. He said that being in rehab is preventing him from progressing because he cannot create or work. On top of that, he was the one.
Yeah, he's saying a lot of these things. Probably not the best source of information.
Who was paying for the treatment.
And you know what? He's probably super duper frustrated about the fact that he doesn't have control over his life. Absolutely. Like, to consider that Bam's not a person that's not going to be frustrated by this level of control over him would be insane. Of course he's going to be stressed out. But you want to know what else is controlling his life? Drugs. So right now, the conversation and the conversation centralizes around what's going to control his life. Somebody else temporarily to help him like deal with his substance abuse problems, or drugs permanently until he's dead. That's what we're debating. We're debating who controls whom for how long. Okay? That's what we're debating. Like, I think rehab isn't like a perfect scenario where everybody's happy fart butterflies. It's hard. It's tough. It beats the fuck out of you. This isn't easy. This isn't easy for Bam. That's why he's constantly relapsing. It's not an easy situation. Like, that's the whole thing.
In early 2019, he was not being medicated in rehab. It was during the wellness agreement.
You're right. Rehab doesn't work sometimes because the problem with rehab can be there's potential multiple problems. If it's a religious centralized rehab, it can be really toxic because once you get outside of like religious centralizing yourself around religion, once you get out of that sphere, you can very easily fall back into it. Absolutely. But like, what alternative do you think that would work? You know what I mean? Like, what else is there? Because the reality is that sometimes, and it's so unfortunate, it's so horrible, is that sometimes you just can't, sometimes you're just not going to be able to rehabilitate a drug addict. It's fucked up and it's horrible, and you can do the best that you can. Most other families at this point would have given up on Bam because there's just not much they could really do. It's hard, it's difficult, and like the fact that they've stuck it out for this long to try to help him is incredible. I want you guys to understand that that's an incredible leap. Most families of drug addicts would have been like, I can't keep doing this. This is literally ruining my life mentally and emotionally and even physically, going year after year trying to get this person off drugs, this person who like is my child, who has children of their own. This is horrible. It's heartbreaking. But I think we live in a fucking fantasy world when it comes to the understanding about how rehabilitation works. Like, yeah, man, life is fucking horrible. They're sticking out with this guy for so long because they clearly love him, and also they're fortunate to have a ton of resources to be able to help him. Yes, I understand Bam is paying for a lot of it because he's rich, right? But like, we need to like ground ourselves here. This isn't really a situation that feels like it's drama content worthy, which is what this video comes off as. And I'm not trying to shit on this guy because I think Patrick CC is a great guy, but this is really a deep conversation. And like, I feel like this is kind of hurting what's happening here. This is like a really deep, fucked up situation, man. He pays their bills. They wouldn't give up on him. See, that's what I'm talking about. Everything is a conspiracy narrative. What's the relationship like with your family? I mean that respectively and wholeheartedly, because I'm telling you something. If I was rich and I was a fucking drug addict, my mother wouldn't try to get me off drugs because, oh, I want him to pay for my stuff. That's not how all family works. You guys have a really cynical perspective. Some families are real pieces of shit. But dude, like, from what I know about Bam and his family and his friends, like, you're telling me that like Stevo has a financial incentive to want to continue to work with Bam and get him off? Like, what? Like, what's Steve? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's Stevo's incentive? What's his net worth? It's probably more. It's probably more than Bam. Maybe it's not, but he's still rich. I doubt that he's like, oh, I want more money from Bam. Like, from every other person who is just as, if not more successful than Bam, what's their incentive for wanting him to keep going to rehab? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, bro. It's just like, I feel like very cynical perspectives here about family and like the normal dynamic between families. It sounds like he has family that loves him and is just trying to help him.
At Paramount, Jeff Tremaine and Johnny Knoxville.
This is I need you guys on. This is one of those like terminally online perspectives. I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole. When we always like assume the worst of people to double down on like a narrative that we want to believe in because we're, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, viewing someone else's life and their like hardship and their potential trauma through a lens of drama. That's how we're viewing it. This is interesting content for like a half-hour video for us to watch. When this is like someone else's entire life. After this video ends, you guys will, all of us are just going to move on. We're going to move on to the next thing in our lives. We're not really going to give this much thought. We're not living this experience every single day. So it's easy to speculate. Like, yeah, you know, I remember watching this, like a YouTuber online, and their parents were like real shit to them. And it's like, yeah, because you're looking at this like reality TV, but they're just real people going through it, you know? So we like really, I mean, truly saying, like, let's really get the terminally online behavior out of here.
Film made him sign in mid-2019 where he was put on 18 different medications that they forced him to take every single day. I don't think people realize how damaging it is to a person when they're on multiple antidepressants, mood stabilizers, uppers and downers.
You're right, but I think that you also have to consider that the reason that he was prescribed so many drugs potentially could be because of bad doctors, also could be because he's so fucked up that he needs that. Have we considered that option? Because I'm not trying to be a dickhead. Who's a doctor here? Who's the doctor? Are you the doctor? What clinical ass things are you like kind of dealing with? I'm not trying to be a dickhead. I'm really not trying to be a fucking asshole. But there's two sides. The fact that like maybe they're overprescribing medications, which does happen, or maybe he's so fucked up, which sounds like that's much more the case after watching this video, that he needs all these medications because he's so unstable, because he has so many like issues. It's very possible. You know? It's very possible.
Makes you crazy. But whenever Bam talks about it, the public just thinks, here we go again. And they don't believe anything he says. Plus, the one drug he couldn't take was Adderall. The only drug he was actually prescribed for many years. And once he took one Adderall, he got booted from the film. Then when he got fired...
Again, that's what he says. We don't even know if that's true. You're listening to everything that he's saying, and when it seems like nobody else really talked about the specifics of like why he got booted out of it. Also sounds like when the way you just said that was also really curious to me.
Here we go again. And they don't believe anything he says. Plus, the one drug he couldn't take was Adderall. The only drug he was actually prescribed for many years. And once he took one Adderall...
Wait. This is a different representation of the way that he said this before. He made it seem like before that Bam was currently prescribed Adderall. This makes it sound like that Bam had been prescribed Adderall for a long time during his like childhood developmental period. This is not the same thing. This is not the same energy I'm getting from before. Before it sounded like you said, yeah, he's currently prescribed Adderall and he took it and then he got kicked out of the house, even though we established that he was filming for 11 months and had no Adderall in his system until one time he had taken Adderall. Now it sounds like you're saying, yeah, he's been prescribed this for a long time in his life, and then he took it, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it sounds like he developed an addiction. There's something that's really not adding up in this video, like really not adding up in this video. That's like super bad. There's such a mismatching of information that coming out of here. Really bad amount of information that's coming out of here. It's all over the place with like the actual presentation of information. It's like it's stunting. It's really stunting here. Okay.
He got booted from the film. Then when he got fired from Jackass, which he normally makes $5 million from, his friends and family probably thought, holy shit, Bam's behavior just made us lose all of that money. The last...
What? Oh, fuck, I just didn't mean to do that. Wait.
Supportive of Bam being in rehab.
Sorry,
of taking sobriety.
I accidentally skipped the hell on.
His friends and family probably thought, holy shit, Bam's behavior just made us lose all of that money. The last Jackass film was in 2011, so Bam...
Why would you say that? Why do you think that they felt that way?
Hasn't made a giant check like that in 11 years, and now won't ever get another Jackass payday. Bam didn't care about the money because his dad has been managing his finances for the past 20 years. He doesn't know how money works. His family realized they needed to do something by force. So for the past year or so, they've been chasing him all over the world and setting him up to lock him up in rehabs, because if he can't get back on the right track, his whole family goes broke again.
That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen you say in any video. What you just told me was that they have control over his finances, and that their entire incentive for getting their son clean solely hinges on the fact that they want him to be able to get back to making money. Maybe? Or maybe what? Or maybe they just want his son to fucking not be on drugs. If they have tons of money, why the fuck would they care if they make more? They live a modest lifestyle in some fucking like hick area where it doesn't cost a whole lot of money. What are you talking about? What's happening here, bro? Come on, dude. Bro, let me tell you something. It's the fucking creators who don't think that they're terminally online or that are the most terminally online. That perspective is unhinged. You rewatched this and thought that... I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole because this guy is such a good content creator. But holy fuck, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? What did we just went on a fucking adventure? What do you mean? Yeah, they want him to get clean on drugs because they just want all this money. They don't give a fuck about Bam. What do you mean? What are you talking about? They probably have plenty of money. They don't give a fuck. It's also weird because I remember watching like the Bam Margera show, and the dad would get up in the morning and go to work, and then this guy made it seem like he's always just managed Bam's like finances when the dad actually did work at one point. I'm just saying, and the dad probably was able to like quit that job and help his son, you know, because like who else can you trust but family? But dude, what the fuck's happening, bro? This is bizarre. This video is bizarre.
All speculation, no facts, just a dumb YouTuber here. But
Yes,
what we can all
agreed.
agree on is Bam 100% needs to tighten up and get his act together because other people have more control.
You don't agree with that. What are you talking about? You made it seem like Bam is like he's being predatorized by everybody around him that loves him somehow. You made this fucking seem like. Okay, weird.
Over his life than he does, and it could get scary.
If this is the standard for that video, I wonder what the standard for that video on that other girl was that he was referring to, because that was horrible. That was really bad. That was probably the most disappointing video I've ever seen from Patrick CC. That's insane. You know, that's just fucking, that was a lot. That was really bad. That was a really bad video. I'm so surprised. I go into every Patrick video going like, this is going to be a good video, because of course he makes banger content. This one was bad, bro. This one was really bad. And 2 days after 9/11, too, you basically dropped this tragedy. Goddamn. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.